I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. They scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I'd like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. But they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. So roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. That will make it back out. And I have my doubts. So I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening, watchmen and watchwomen. Has it certainly been an interesting 24 hours? Wow. And thank you, Carly. That song is done by a gentleman by the name of Brittain Duckworth, and he was nice enough to allow us to use it for an intro. Gosh, since 2014. So that is that was awesome of him. And I've had the opportunity to use several other intro songs, and I am so deeply in love with that song and the video, to be honest. I don't know if I can top it, but anyway, wow. There are a lot of things to cover, obviously. I guess I'll start with the Twitter ban. Or the suspension. I was allowed to resume my Twitter duties at the time that they stated. However, their claim that I could browse Twitter and partake in direct messaging, which, by the way, I've not ever sent or received one single direct message on Twitter, and I likely never will. I put out articles on Twitter. That's all I use it for. I don't read Twitter. I don't do anything with Twitter other than I put articles out on it. I'm not a social media bee whatsoever. I'm not a huge fan of communication. I'm going to be honest. But anyway, so that got resolved, and apparently their claim is that I had shared a story from RT News that was misleading or just not true, and that's not the case. By the way, RT, right? RT, they weren't suspended, but I was. Right, so they were fine with tweeting out their own news. I just wasn't fine, with tweeting out their news. So, I'm not dumb. I'm not naive. And you guys know a lot of times I will call out other channels and other people that put out wildly crazy claims that YouTube is specifically out to get just them. There's plenty of those out there. And I don't think that Twitter's out to get just me. I'm nobody. But I do not believe that that was a coincidence. Not for a second do I believe that it was a coincidence that during the period of time of all of this going on, I would be under suspension. And meaning the stuff today. That I would be under suspension. Folks, we do the truth here. And it's not always well received. And I was infuriated just maybe about an hour ago. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I was absolutely infuriated. I was screaming. And I don't hardly ever scream. That's how mad I was. I just spoke about this guy yesterday, and he upped his ante big time, unforgivably big. Angry American. He went live this evening on Facebook, and I get that there's a rhetoric there, and I all get that. And I can accept that to some level. But when that rhetoric gets sickening and disgusting, when the lies and misception and misdirection, whatever, get so far out of hand, man. And when it has to do with a human life lost, that is where it really turns up the heat in my heart. And it's in reference to the young woman that was shot and killed today at the Capitol building. He claimed that she was Antifa and that she was all kitted out in gear, the helmet, I guess, the whole 9 yards, kitted out. I didn't see a helmet. I did not see a helmet. What I did see was the young lady was literally wrapped in a Trump flag. Literally had a Trump flag wrapped around her. And I'm at a loss here. I mean, he is so disconnected because his claim is that she was a Democrat, she was a leftist, or she was Antifa. That's his claim. A young woman lost her life today. And to gain whatever it is that he expects to gain, meaning Angry American, his actual name's Chris Weatherman, how much can you sell your soul to gain a little bit of attention? To get people to cheer you on? Things like that, folks, is why we were suspended from Twitter. Not because of what he did or anything like that, but we would have came to you straight today. 110%. If there was some reason for us to need to, we would have came to you straight. There's no need for rhetoric and madness. Isn't everything crazy enough as it is? I don't think we really need to exaggerate on anything. I don't think we need to add to anything. I would say things are pretty screwed up as is, as advertised. I mean, it's crazy. It is really, really crazy. Which leads me to the events today. And where to start? I had, what was it, CBS or something on earlier. I was watching a video or something. And, I mean, just right from the get-go, they were calling it a mob. Now, and again, I'm not choosing any sides here. I'm bringing you my observations. But yet, just not that long ago, Portland was in flames, and that was a peaceful protest. And they kept repeating it over and over and over. All the channels except for Fox, which I'm not defending Fox, but all the channels except for Fox were calling every bit of it a peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. And you'd hear it 100 times in one newscast. Peaceful protest. Or mostly peaceful protest. I saw news articles today about an armed standoff. Isn't an armed standoff when two sides of people have guns? Not just one, right? Isn't an armed standoff when both sides have guns? Because I'm yet to see the evidence of the standoff. What I did see, linked to that title, was a picture taken from inside the chamber, with chamber security having their weapons drawn. That's what I saw. That's not an armed standoff. And it's not an armed standoff. This is crazy. And this is why I've said for so long it's important to tell the truth. It's important to be honest about anything and everything. Because it's times like this, that is what we need. All of us. We need the truth. Because if we act on lies, God knows where that's going to put us. And seemingly, most of the people out there trying to bring you any information have something to agendize in it and some way to twist and sway and make you think like them. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to think like me. God, no. I wouldn't want anybody to think like me. But I don't want you to think like anybody else either. I want you to think like you. Independent thought. You know, somebody had said, even on the Facebook post earlier, and I had replied. Actually, he just replied, right? But, so, he had posted a link talking about, hang on here. This one here. Former FBI agent on the ground at U.S. Capitol just texted me and confirmed that at least one busload of Antifa thugs infiltrated peaceful Trump demonstrators as part of a false flag ops. Or a false Trump flag ops. Okay? And then I said, and I mean, this is kind of the way it is. Oh, yeah? LOL, I saw the video. That was Trump supporters, not Antifa. If Antifa was involved in any way, are we not our own people with our own individual thoughts? Or are, quote unquote, we admitting to being nothing more than sheeple like the rest? Seriously, the tiniest bit of accountability would be nice from all sides. That was my response. Because of this disconnect here. There is no it's okay for one side and not the other. That's bogus. We got to stop that. Man, I'll tell you what, there's going to be a huge learning curve that's going to be shortened into like a 90-degree, if not a hairpin, probably more like a hairpin turn, to be honest. And that, ladies and gentlemen, started today. I think there are a lot of people that woke up today. A lot. Sorry, sipping coffee. I actually made coffee before the show because, I mean, come on. With a day like today, I'm going to have because God knows what's going to happen during the show. They're meeting right now for the Senate confirmation hearings right this second. I didn't win. Well, Pence was weak. He was supposed to say, hey, look, the Biden ain't going to cut it. And Trump, but this Watchman guy. But see, he sold out. I'm kidding. You wouldn't want me in there. You would not want me in there. Yeah, I'm not a good leader. I am, but only for no bullshit people. Because you put me in lead of bullshit people, and I ain't gonna have no people. Because I'm gonna run them off in a hurry. You know, I can't say that I'm 100% behind the reason behind the day. But I ain't going to argue the action. I have long been saying that we've got to stand up. Now, I wished we would stand up over things like the citizens of the United States getting $600 stimulus checks while the majority of the stimulus goes over to Pakistan for gender studies. Yeah, I think we should address things like that. I think that's what's important. I think, there are so many instances in this country where the American people are really getting the shaft. And little to nothing is said. We should have been at this point decades ago. But not over an election. If you want something shocking, you look at what you got in 1950 when you bought a piece of land. And when I say what you got, I mean the property rights. In 1950, somewhere in there, you look at what rights you had when you bought that plot of land versus what rights you have today when you buy a plot of land. It's still a plot of land, and it may be the same damn plot of land being sold in the 1950s as to what's sold today. But the property rights change dramatically. That in itself blows my mind. But nobody wants to talk about it. Eminent domain. Sure, it had some backlash in the beginning. But guess what? It's still a thing. And little to nothing is said, except for those that get directly affected by it. Nobody else cares. Nobody else cares. If it don't affect them, they don't care. Civil asset forfeiture. Here's another humdinger. Every year, millions of dollars are seized throughout the nation through civil asset forfeiture. And the rightful owners never see that money back, whether they are charged with a crime or not. We have a church organization that is extremely heavily known for being involved in imaginable acts against children. Yet the church organization is allowed to ferry these priests from location to location and keep everything, for the most part, completely under wraps, so that these men never get charged, never get convicted, and their victims have to live with that their entire lives. This is your government allowing this. What happened today was far too little, far too late. And over an election? But hey, at least we're here. I can remember once talking to my good friend Steve Engel. And I once told him something to the effect of, it doesn't really matter how we get there as long as we get there. That's conversation sometime back, Steve. Probably, maybe even a couple years. Man, I'm telling you, if you're the praying type, it's a good time. Get on them knees. We got a rough road coming. Very rough road. I'm actually literally elated because I was able to get something that came in today. And I'm excited as all get out because I've got all kinds of different digital copies of it, but I don't have a or I didn't have a hard copy of it. Hang on. I literally have a ton of books. How can I get this smaller? I literally have a ton of books about, religions and whatnot. Pardon me. Lots of different ones, too. Not just Christianity or anything like that, because I'm not going to cheat myself. But this, I don't know why the picture wants to be 5 million pixels big, but the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. And I will cherish this. I will cherish this. It's doing the things. Doing the things. And as I've told you, I am really, as all this stuff is happening, I'm really pulling close to the Father. Why wouldn't I? And I want to be able to ensure that if things go really, really south in a real big hurry, that I have the tools necessary to be able to do what it is, one of the jobs it is that I am to do, and that is to teach. And I am not blessed with the ability to remember every verse in the Bible, and I just don't have that. I've got an incredible memory, but not that kind of memory. And anyway, that is going to be a major tool, and it won't matter whether I have electricity or not to be able to use it. And I would urge you to do the very same thing for any of it. Do not put yourself in a position to where you're going to be relying on technology. Because I have a very, I've got a good gut feeling soon enough, a lot of people are going to have a hard time accessing some of this everyday technology that we all utilize. I don't know where this is going to go. I know Pence is like, he ain't having it. As far as getting involved in Trump stuff, he's going to go through with the confirmation. And there again, over at Angry American, he was talking about Pence resigned, or he heard a rumor Pence resigned. And yet, right then and there, Pence is standing, getting ready to, it's like, oh, man, it's ridiculous, the stuff that's made up for whatever popularity, views. I don't know. My soul is far more important than any of that. So what happens from here? I don't know. This could die off. This could have been the worst of it. Or it could explode. I don't think it's going to much explode. I really don't. I think we're going to have other things to be more concerned about very quickly. I think that inside of a couple of months, this won't even get brought up a whole lot. I mean, it will in the same echo chambers, but as far as the majority, it'll be a distant memory, like everything else. I mean, you gotta admit, there's been some humdingers, like the Las Vegas shooting and all of that. That was a humdinger. How many people talk about that today? Just a few here and there in the same echo chambers. That's it. Same with 9/11. Same people, same echo chambers, right? So I'm not diminishing or downing the individuals that talk about that stuff in any way. I'm just pointing out the reality that it's usually the same people talking about the same things. As far as getting out, the only time you get out is when there's major events, like for instance today, or other types of major events that you'll wake up a whole bunch of more people. That really is about the only time. And then you get those topics circling in those groups and those echo chambers again, and then it all kind of plateaus out, and then later on down the road something else will happen and you'll get some fresh meat. But as far as some type of great grand awakening, not yet, but I think it's very soon. I think we're leading up to it. I think it's going to take a little bit longer. A little bit longer, not much. About 2 or 3 months, and I think there's going to be a whole lot of wide awake people. We'll see. Anyway, let me think here. There's anything else update wise, like as far as us, I don't know. Been kind of mellow. Just trying to get stuff done. Just trying to get updates done around here. I did just like a little bit before I went live. Finally got my wire to finish up and the other stuff. I got 2 projects that were put on hold because a package was delayed. So that package made it tonight, and so I'll be able to get on that tomorrow, amongst other projects. I've got a lot of stuff on my plate. A lot of stuff. I've got a website I'm working on. Well, actually, I've got 2 websites I'm working on for clients. Trying to get all this stuff, taken care of around the house and stuff, because we did just move in, and we want to do things a little differently than since we've been together. It's almost like when we've lived somewhere, it's just been a place to live. And I don't want a place to live anymore. I want a home. I want a home. We're in a beautiful home. I think it's beautiful. It's small, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous on the inside, and not bad on the outside either. And I want Jen and I to have a place that we can call home, a place that we can kick back, maybe turn something on the TV, and truly relax. Not feel like we're in a business environment, because it's almost like we're constantly in a business environment. We sit at a news desk, right? I'm covering news, a lot of stuff, even though I'm not live. I'm tweeting stuff, I'm looking at stuff, I'm whatever. And there's not a lot of time that we just relax and enjoy a home. And I want to fix that. I've got some really cool ideas for the place, little decorative kind of things, and I can't wait. I want to get some of the vinyl that's made for interior walls that will peel off without damaging the walls and stuff. And hey, I know somebody that knows how to cut vinyl. So I want to do up scripture, and my plan is to have Jen's got some pictures of herself and her family, and then I want to print out a few pictures, or get them printed out of that I took with the drone, like some sunset stuff, and just get a few of them, and then I want to get different things related to spirituality. But what I want to do is on the walls, I want to scatter those around. Like Jen's pictures, I kind of want to scatter around. The sunsets, I want to have kind of scattered a little bit. And then the scripture, I want scattered in between all of it. I've got it in my head. It looks really cool in my head, even if I'm not explaining it very well. Yeah, busy. It's definitely going to look busy, but I think it's going to look really, really cool. My intent is to visually represent a jungle of scripture. I don't know. I like the idea. I think it sounds cool. We'll see. But I want to make this into a home. And so anyway, I got off on a big tangent there, but I got the stuff in the wire to finish up the camera system, because it's all up and it's working and stuff like that. But I do want to put the cameras in a little bit better position than what they are now, which required me to get more wire. And then I'm doing some massive upgrades on the backbone of the system itself. And yeah, I'm gonna call it Fort Callahan. What? Would you rather it be Fort White? Because people might think untrue things about us. uh, like the racist the racist people that try to get us to vote, right? They kept sending you stuff that's saying to the white family, right? It sounded so bad. It sounded so bad. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been doing. Like I said, I've got a couple of website clients I'm working with right now. I've got speakers I got to get up, mounted up. I got the shelves for that. That came too. That was one of the projects. I've got a ton of projects, a ton, but I typically do, and I enjoy it that way. So let me quit talking about my life, and let's get on to the normal stuff. We'll get on to some headlines. We'll get the heck out of here and be close to the end of another week, because tomorrow will be the end of our week. So anyway, let's do this after a sip of coffee, because that's in the contract. All right. Get my little self stuff out of the way here. Amazon affiliate, we are at 94 cents. I want to thank those that participate in that program. I do show that there were some items ordered, so thank you. Thank you. For those that don't know, we're an Amazon affiliate. There's a link in the description of the videos, as well as at the watchmannews.com right there in the right top corner. And when you click that link, it just takes you to Amazon, but it does so with our special link. And when you make purchases, those items don't cost you anything more, but it gives us a commission. It throws us a little bit for that sale, and that's a nice way that doesn't cost you a dime to help support the show. We also have a Teespring store. Best way to see what we have there is go to the watchmannews.com. Scroll down on the home page. We currently have 4 different designs. If you see something that you like, there's more than just t-shirts. There's coffee mugs, tote bags, tapestries, you name it, all kinds of stuff. And you just click on the image there from the watchmannews.com, and it will take you on over to Teespring, where they have all the products with that particular design. That's also a good way to support the show. And lastly, we have a PayPal donate link. That's in the description of the videos, as well as at the watchmannews.com right there, main menu. And that just takes you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do so as a guest with a debit or a credit card, but I always let people know it does say Transforming Disabilities up top. It also says Purpose the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. There, done. All right, COVID. Again, the Bing tracker, goodness knows. Right now it says 3,882. Let's refresh. Let's see if it changes, because it's magic. No. See, it's going to prove me the liar. Still at 3,882 fatal cases so far today. Again, as we've experienced, that number will rise, it will drop, and we'll have no clue what it's going to be tomorrow when they actually post it. So that's the way it works. Those are the rules. And new cases we're seeing for yesterday, they're saying is 199,705. And fatal cases for yesterday jumped back up. Now they're saying 3,371, and that's a pretty substantial number. Locally, we're up to 1,619 total confirmed. Now, I'm going to have to figure this out because this went up quite a bit. So I remember the day before yesterday was 1,588, and I remember that there was 8 added to that. Correct? Yeah, because it was 96. Yesterday was 1,596. So that means that 23 was added to it. Okay, so there's 23 more confirmed cases in the last 24 hours for our particular zip code. Now, mind you, we are over 10% of our population that has tested positive for COVID-19. Over 10% of our town's population. That's kind of crazy. All right. No spilling the coffee. That's abuse. Did I get huffed? I'm not surprised. Woke her. It probably stirred her sleep. How dare I? All right, tweeter. In lieu of what I really want to call these. All right. Last night I put out risk for future generations ? Peru clashes with Pfizer over Big Pharma's legal immunity for COVID-19 vaccine side effects. And I think I did read that last night, but I'm not positive. Also from last night, toss-up in Georgia as runoffs as Republican fight to retain slim majority in U.S. Senate. Well, as you know, that didn't happen. Also last night, FBI launches probe after voice message picked up by air controllers threatens to fly plane into U.S. Capitol to avenge Soleimani. And I thought, when I saw that headline, I thought, oh, great. False flag, false flag. And I was kind of somewhat expecting something like that today. Okay, this is what I started tweeting out ever since Twitter allowed me to start tweeting. Thank you, Queen. Hang on. I gotta have a vape after that. Give Twitter a chance to ban me before I start reading. All right. Trump supporters clash with D.C. police in BLM Plaza ahead of Save America rally. A Democrat, Raphael Warnock, has ousted Republican Kelly Loeffler in Georgia Senate race, AP and other major media outlets project. Trump warns a big voter dump against GOP in Georgia Senate race as Warnock declares victory before all ballots are counted. Trump turns up the heat on Beijing banning Alipay and 7 other Chinese apps. Beijing vows to take necessary measures after Trump's latest attack on Chinese payment apps. I mean, I don't know where all this is going to lead. China bans gatherings and travel in regional center after 63 locally transmitted COVID infections recorded near the capital. Kenosha shops braced for riots after Wisconsin clears cop of crippling black man in shooting. And I haven't honestly heard anything about that with the overshadowing of Washington, D.C. I honestly haven't heard anything more on Wisconsin at all. Doesn't mean nothing's happening. I'm just saying it hasn't really ran across my news. Trump supporters berate Mitt Romney and brand him as a traitor on a packed flight to D.C. Now, in all fairness, the left was getting berated for this type of activity not that long ago. You know, we have to make a decision whether we're going to do what's right or whether we're going to do what's wrong. But if we decide to do what's wrong, then we have to be accountable for it. Herculean effort, UK needs more than 2 million COVID-19 jabs a week to hit February target, says vaccines minister. Wild swings resume as Bitcoin soars to dizzying heights. It made it to 35,000. That's insane. South Korean delegation will head to Iran over tankers seized by Revolutionary Guard. A very patient Putin, Russian president, still treats West well despite facing colonial attitudes abroad, a spokesman insists. Not just a visa issue, China says preparatory work needed for WHO visit to trace COVID-19 pandemic origin. Wait a minute. Why do you need to prepare? And what do you need to prepare? Assange denied bail by British court, forced to stay in high-security prison. A time to change? ? A mixed response after German officials cheer diversity campaign to give names of migrant origin to weather events. working on the important things. EU medicines regulator approves Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Former Goldman Sachs banker Richard Sharp set to be named new BBC chairman, says reports. You see how that works? North Korea's Kim admits economic failure at Party Congress and blames a series of the worst of worst unprecedented crises. I guess that's crises. 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 Kind of like crikey, but crikey, it's a crisis. Victoria, Victoria, fuck the EU. Come on, it felt good to say it. It's her name, Newland, to make comeback in Biden's cabinet, says the media. So I had to have fun with it, even if that did mean misreading it. And I got huffed by the dog. That made it worth it. Scientists warn of imminent warming event at North Pole, which threatens to strike UK with another beast from the east. Back in 2018, they got hit with that cold snap, and they're expecting it again. I would venture to say it's going to be worse. I bet it's going to be worse. Michelin to slash 2,300 workers in France to boost production efficiency. Huh? You're going to get rid of workers to make production more efficient. Wait a minute. Why don't you just say you're going to automate and cut jobs? Oh, because people might be onto you then. We cannot sit back and hope German government to introduce law forcing companies to appoint more women to boards. We're nothing like the rest of the world. Australian disease physician says they certainly don't want to rush a COVID-19 vaccine. Imagine that, although I don't trust them either. New study highlights major issue in scientific publishing as old paper continues to be cited despite being retracted 11 years ago. Failing upwards, 5 ways governments couldn't have handled the COVID-19 pandemic worse. It's kind of an interesting article. A judge's denial of Assange's bail unfair and illogical. No reason to keep him behind bars, says WikiLeaks editor-in-chief. Democrat Ossoff declares victory in Georgia, furthering Senate majority claim, but gets corrected by Twitter. Because we all know Twitter is the decider. UK signs £550 million, meaning money, weapons contract to provide unrivaled lethality for F-35s. People in the U.S. might have gotten confused with that headline when I said pounds. They could have thought I meant the weight of the munitions, which I did not. Sudan says it has signed U.S. Abraham Accords, a major step to become latest Arab nation normalizing ties with Israel. Where have I read about peace in the Middle East? Can't remember. It's a book somewhere. Beijing alerts Mekong River neighbors to restricted water flow amid dam maintenance as experts cry foul over late warning. UK, France, and Germany urge Iran to stop uranium enrichment program without delay as Tehran ups the stakes. This is a time for extreme courage, Trump tells Mike Pence in plea to veto Congress Electoral College certification. No Big Bang, third COVID national lockdown for England to end only by gradual unwrapping, Boris Johnson warns. Now you see how this has played out, right? It was, we ease into it, come on, people, just accept it. And then once it's accepted, it's, this is the way it's going to be. Yeah. No, don't worry, you're going to be seeing it close enough, or soon enough. and close enough. A malfunction or sabotage probe launched in Argentina after 400 Sputnik 5 jabs spoiled in a possible attack. Heading to a dark place, Brits slam police commissioners' call for power to enter homes to enforce COVID-19 lockdown. Now they want to just be able to bust your door in. Over COVID. Now you tell me this is about a virus. I mean, I'm not saying there's not a virus. What I am saying is that they're using the virus to take as absolute most control as they can possibly get us to hand over to them. And it's crazy. It is crazy. Anyway. Trust in teachers rather than algorithms. UK government attempts to avoid repeat of last year's chaotic exam results debacle. Sorry, I gotta have a vape. Almost out of this bottle. Then I get to go back to my pink Starburst for a little bit. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And now I need to get some more mixed up. And I'm going to mix up a few bottles of each. The Evil's Apple Juice and Pink Starburst. So I can swap out. I might actually get my other tank going. I've vaped all this time. And I really never have had two different tanks set up so that I could just swap flavors. I'll make up several bottles of a flavor and I'll vape it until it's gone. And I'll vape another flavor for a few bottles until it's gone. And I'll just back and forth. Not real hard to please. Let's see. Absolute Science. Journalists asked to sign confidentiality agreement over report into child abuse by German Catholic Church. And we were just talking about stuff like this earlier. But it's the same type of crap that happens right here in the United States. Hello, Jack, you there? Sean Penn seemingly encourages cyanide salts for Trump, and Twitter lets it go. Yeah, I post a news article, a validated news article, and I get suspended. Sean Penn can encourage people taking cyanide salts. Well, encourage Trump taking cyanide salt, and that's okay. But I can't post a truthful news article. Oh, and it's not me. It's not about me at all. It's about the premise behind this. This is ridiculous. We will never concede. Trump vows to fight on during D.C. rally. As Congress set to certify election for Biden. Trump lawyer Lynn Wood must be done list includes treason charge for Mike Pence, John Roberts retiring. Vaccinate the athletes. Olympics official wants nations to prioritize athletes for COVID vaccine so that Tokyo Games can go ahead. That is all that they're worried about over there in Japan is these Olympics. They could care less if the world's burning, long as they get their Olympics. And it's ridiculous. Somebody should have stepped up by now. Moscow's new women metro drivers inspire commemorative Barbie dolls after the rule change lets them take to Capitol's rails. To Capitol's rails. So I guess there was a law that had prevented them, or that banned them, women, from driving the metro. And so that was rescinded, and they took back the positions. So Barbie had decided to make a commemorative doll because of the event. So, kind of cool. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, I'm all for free capitalism. Why not? Ukrainian nationalists launch anti-Semitic attacks on Israeli envoy after he condemns march to honor Nazi collaborator Bandera. Trump supporters storm Capitol as Congress meets to certify Biden's election. Amid Trump calls for veto, Pence says he does not have unilateral authority to decide which electoral votes can be counted. And I don't know whether he does or not. You know, that's just the thing. There is so much misinformation and flat-out lies going around. It's hard to know the truth on anything. And all of this stuff, you would probably have to dig through thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of legal mumbo-jumbo and still not have a clear answer. Why? Because we live in a legal society, not a lawful society, as we are supposed to live in. We are supposed to be living in a lawful society, but we're not. We are living in a legal society, and this is what you get. Sorry, guys. I thought... Oh, wait. If it pops up again, I'm going to nick it. I'm going to get it. Hang on. Come on, do it. Do it. Pop up. Do it. I dare you. Now it ain't. All right. Sorry about that. I don't know how. I don't know where that I know where the notification's coming from. It's coming from Amazon. But I don't know, like, where it's coming from. I don't know. Like, there is nothing on my phone. So it didn't, I'm not getting computer notifications that are coming from my phone because they do that. I don't know. I don't know where they're coming from. But I will get it next time it pops up. My apologies. COVID hospitalizations in UK surpassed 30,000 for the first time in pandemic amid record surge in infections. Major incident, U.S. Justice Department says emails accessed in SolarWinds hack insists that no classified information was involved. A Stanford researchers developing a single-dose nanoparticle COVID-19 vaccine that doesn't need cold storage. Oh, yeah, because that just sounds way, way, way better than an mRNA. Not. U.S. Congress goes into lockdown as pro-Trump protesters storm Capitol. Here's, you gotta love the headlines. Trump supporters in armed standoff with police inside U.S. Capitol as offices evacuated and lawmakers told to don gas masks, says reports. Not an armed standoff when only one side has the weapons. Might be a standoff, but it's not an armed standoff when one side has the weapons. Bolivia registers Sputnik V vaccine against COVID-19 on basis of Russian trial data, says Moscow. Trump supporter shot during Capitol breach now in critical condition. And of course, that's old news. It's not protest, it's insurrection. Biden tells Trump to demand an end to the siege on the Capitol. McConnell scorches Trump's election fraud claims, says democracy would enter a death spiral if results are overturned. The same guy that says that you shouldn't be able to afford to live. D.C. mayor and Democrat Virginia governor beg for state troopers their constituents want defunded as unrest at Capitol continues. Man, I don't know why I couldn't get that headline out right. You have to go home now. Trump urges supporters who breach Capitol to leave, says, I know how you feel. Oh, yeah. Democracy must be respected. France, UK, and NATO condemn chaos in Washington and call for peaceful transfer of power. Time out. Didn't they back the stuff that was going on in Portland? Didn't they back the stuff that was going on in Portland? Chaos and protests continue outside U.S. Capitol as D.C. mayor declares curfew. National Guard is fully activated. A woman shot during U.S. Capitol siege dies as Virginia governor declares emergency and curfew kicks in. Syrian air defenses respond to Israeli aggression around Damascus. Go home and remember this day forever. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube wiped Trump's mixed message to supporters who stormed Congress. Twitter jails Trump over go home message to protesters, threatening to delete the U.S. president's account over policy violations. But Sean Penn saying that Trump should take cyanide salts is all okay. Senate reconvenes for Electoral College vote count with heavily armed guards after U.S. Capitol siege. Russiagate Democrats blame Putin for crowd that stormed U.S. Capitol protesting stolen U.S. election. Really? Can we let that dog just rest? I was waiting to get a huff for that. No huff. Or it's going to be a really delayed and dramatic one. EU backs away from... What, did she?
It was really light.
Okay, Jen said she did a real light one. EU backs away from Venezuela's Guaido joining U.S. President-elect to suggest opposition leader is done. Let's see, what's up here? Clinton, Obama, and Bush ashamed of Third World Banana Republic D.C. riot as Dems seek to impeach Trump for inciting insurrection. It's nuts. Nuts. Let me tweet that out real quick while I can. At least, well, I think I can. We'll find out. Oh, hey, look, I can. Sweet. Yeah, no kidding. I think I can. I think now she's snoring. She like huffed me not even a minute ago, and now she's over there snoring. I think I'm just jealous, to be honest. I wish I could fall asleep like that. Anyway, I'm going to get the hell out of here because it's been a crazy day. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy year. I can say that because we're barely into it. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here and enjoy the rest of my evening. And I urge you, regardless of all the malarkey, we can call it malarkey, or we can call it tomfoolery, whatever you want to call it, just try to relax and enjoy a little bit of time of semi-normalcy, semi-normalcy, or just full-on clusterfuck. Just try to enjoy a little bit of it. Seriously, I mean that, okay? Don't forget to get ready. Don't forget to prep. Don't take your eye off the ball. But try to have some joy. Please. Please. On that, I appreciate you all coming. Father Yah willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.